This is the divisional round of the playoffs, and it's a little crazy this last week. Some teams went 3-0, and then other teams didn't. This is Sports Hour. What's going on, Alex? Welcome back to Sports Hour for the playoffs, the divisional round. We were in the wild card league. Let's go and take a look what happened last week. And I go move my thing. Yes. So last week we had the playoffs. It was yes. My predictions were the Indians win 3-0, the Panthers won 3-0, the Knights won 3-2. Dogs won 3-1. Huskies won 3-0. Leland Cats won 3-2. Packers won 3-2. And Otters went 3-1. I got probably one of those. I got one of those right. So let's see what happened. So first off, we had the Indians and the Giants. Well, they lost in 3 games. So I got that one completely wrong. It wasn't even close. This one I got wrong because it was. I mean, you can see all of them is pretty close in context, but the Giants end up winning. Anyways, they scored 290 points versus the Indians only scored 280 points. So there's a 10-point difference between those games, and so the Indians were eliminated early on. Panthers, however, we did get correct. We got that one right. We got the Panthers, who did win all 3 of their games. The first game was an absolute blowout. The second game was kind of close, and the third game was an absolute blowout. The Panthers would move on in that regard. The Tigers and Knights. I originally predicted the Knights to go 3-2. Well, it didn't take 3 games. It didn't take 5 games. It took 3. They won all 3 games. So I got it correct, kind of. I get it as half a point, I guess. We'll go with darker blue. Go off of that. So I didn't get it completely wrong. I just got it wrong out. As for the Dogs game, let me go to the Dogs. Dogs ended up winning 3-0 as well. That was a little bit closer, but still not completely right. They won 3-0 instead of 3-1. And the other side, the Huskies did win 3-0, so I did get that one correct. Lucky there. I got that one correct. Leland Cats won 3-2, and that was actually pretty close. They didn't win. They didn't need it. They didn't 3-2, so I got that one half right. We get a half point for that one. For that one, we did get it. As for the Packers did win 3-2, exactly as I predicted. So we got that one 100% correct. As for the Otters, they ended up winning 3-2. And so I got that one half right as well. So I actually did not do terribly. I only got one completely wrong. And the rest of them I got pretty close to being accurate at this point. Now, of course, next week it's going to be an interesting week because the Panthers will have to face off against the Giants. I'll put these back to black. No. The Dogs are going to place the Knights. The Huskies are going to face the Otters. And the Leland Cats are going to face the Packers. These are going to be interesting games. I think all of them are going to be pretty close. I did the divisional round. Let's take a look what would happen if we go to the divisional round, not the wildcard round. After the wildcard round. So obviously I didn't get all these right. I got most of them correct. We're going to start with the Panthers versus Knights. I feel like the Giants got a little bit lucky in the context. They're just not going to do great off this one. I do think there's going to be a chance that the Panthers will lose a game here and there. So I'm going to go and give the Panthers the win off the context because I do think the Panthers probably are going to still win. I'm going to go 3-1. I do think it's likelihood that the Panthers will probably win 3-0. But one thing to note is the Panthers have never lost in the first round. So, at all. We got the Dogs and the Knights. This is a tough one because the Dogs and the Knights are pretty much they're in the same division. And they did face off against each other at some point this season. I believe they're 1-1. I have to confirm that. It's not going to be in that one. Nope. Let's see. In the NBL North, the Panthers, Panthers Dogs and Knights were both in the playoffs. You can see the Dogs tied in one time, and the other time they faced off, the Knights lost. So it's actually slightly in favor of them winning this point. I probably should lift that up because I do need it. In a second here. Let's take a look here for that one. I think it's gonna be a pretty interesting game. I'm gonna give the Dogs the victory. I'm gonna say it's gonna take all the games to face off. I haven't actually put the predictions in, and these are my predictions before we get to death points. Huskies and Otters, I'm afraid it's going to have to be the Huskies. I'm going to give the Otters an additional one game. I'm going to say 3-1. I do think it's going to be it's still going to be they're going to be eliminated. We got the Cats and the Packers. Now, this one is probably the toughest game. And I don't even know where to go for that one, though, because of the position. These two teams are going to be faced off, and they're going to be really close. If we looked at the third versus the Packers 16, and then the fourth versus this is going to be more of a defensive battle, I think, in the end. So this is going to be a tough one either way. I'm going to currently give the Leland Cats an advantage, but I do think this is going to be another game, 3-2. I think it's going to be pretty close. Let's take a look what the actual stats are. So I'll take a look at this one here. So first off, we have the Packers, who are get 20 points. There's a calculator on the side here, so you don't have to. I'm not going to use 20 points plus minus their stats here, and nothing has changed. Indians are 22, so it's minus 22, which means they're going to be minus 2. So right now, the Indians are actually a minus 2, which means they will change a little bit. Leland Cats have 23. Let's see. Leland Cats are at 10 overall, so they only have 10 points, and they're actually one rank higher than them. I put the Indians. The Indians are not playing here. I get the wrong one. It's not. It's the. Let me check here because this is. So it's Leland Cats and the Packers. I looked at the wrong one. So looking at this, the Indians. The Packers' total ranking is 20. The Leland Cats are 10. Now we get to minus the actual amount they have scored, so we get to point minus 19 here, and we get to put the Leland Cats minus 23. So that puts them at a negative 13, which will change in a second, to 1. Which means the Leland Cats have a 12-point, would be 12-point favorites. They were favored in the last game too, so that was a chance. I honestly think that's probably pretty fair, considering the Packers did, in fact, actually come back. They, by the way, Packers were lost the first game, then they won the second game, then they lost the third game. No, wait, they won the third game. I don't even know why they played an extra game. Did I get that wrong? Hold on 1 second. I guess they're not scheduled, they're published. Let me see here. It would have been game 1. I may have mixed the games up. It's all the way down here. The Packers and Chargers. This is game. Chargers defeated. Yep. And then game 2. Packers defeated Chargers. Series tie 1, gotcha. Then we go here to the next one. I may have just knew I may actually play an extra game. 2-1. Game 4. Did they tie in game 4? So I don't know what happened. They shouldn't have played an additional game. Unless I did the wrong score somehow. confirmation of this? Okay. So what happened was, this is what should have happened. Should have been. I ate it wrong. So in game, the Chargers should have won that second game. I'm being confirmed. We gotta gain game 3 here. Game 2 rather. I definitely got the wrong game date too. It would have been 6-3. It's the other way around. There was an error. That's my bad. There we go. So that should be correct now. Because in the next game that he plays, Packers defeat the Chargers in game 3. Okay, well, clearly you guys see I did make some mistakes. That is my bad. Alright, now that's correct. We get to look at the next one here. I may have confused one of the games or something, because that's what happens. But anyways, Packers is a 12-point game, so Leland has to have 12 points. Let's take the Huskies and the Otters. First seed Huskies get a -27. And the Otters, all the way down here, have a -15. Let's see what we got here. The Otters have 41 points. That's not good. Well, the Huskies only have 28. So that puts them, their total score at 1, and their total score at 26. So it's a heavy favor to the Huskies. 24-point favor. Let's take a look here. So that's going to be I don't think that's going to be even a close matchup in that regard. But looking at this, that makes me wonder if I think they're going to get it. They are probably going to get a game. Ours are probably going to get a game in there. I won't be surprised if it's 3-1 though. We get the Dogs and the Knights. The Dogs get a -18, while the Knights, which are up here, get a -23. They actually got some more points at the course in the end here. The Dogs have 45 and the Knights have 24. So 24, 45. So it's a 27 to 1. That just says that there is a 26. The Dogs. Okay, so that means the Knights should be favored in this game. Granted, they were favored in the last one by a certain amount too, but Knights favored by 26. I gave the Dogs the advantage in that one. I did say 3-2 though, so I won't be surprised if it does similar to it. We got the Panthers and the Giants. I don't think this game this score is going to be even close. Panthers have a -46 to start off, while the Giants, all the way down here, have a -13. If we looked at the division, Panthers get 3, so they are going to be already at -33 to start off. As for the Giants, they barely made the playoffs, to be honest. I mean, they were 8th seed, barely making it. They get 9 plus 23, 32 points. They get a current 19. Which means 52 points. The Panthers are favored by 52 in that regard. So it shouldn't even be a close game. So it shouldn't be at all. This should be an absolute 3-0 series. Honestly, I probably really should change that, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it as it is. But I do feel like that's going to be a 3-0 game. Of course, the Indians were favored by 32 and they lost all 3 games. So I think the Giants will probably get game 2. That's my guess, but who knows? And let's assume on now we go from this. Let's say we go to the next round, which is going to be the conference championship. I will say, I think this is what's going to happen. If I go to my predictions, Panthers will face off against Dogs. In a pretty close matchup. It'll be Panthers versus Dogs. And then a Huskies will face off Leland Cats, if I predicted it correctly. My predictions say that these two teams will face off each other. The Panthers will probably win that one. They faced off more, and then the Panthers have won both times they faced off against them. I think the Panthers will win that one. Probably 3-0, but we'll say for conference that went 3-1. And then Huskies will probably beat the Leland Cats 3-1. So I will say it will be probably the 1 seed team versus the 2 seed team. And since that is the way it works, the Huskies will get to choose the home field advantage for that game. That is it for Sports Hour this week for this one. I apologize for the mistakes I made off the dance. I had it correct written down, but I wrote it down wrong. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week for the conference championship.